こんにちは、あーちゃん。
Hello, ダルさん。
Today we're talking about 自己紹介
Part 2です。
Part 2. We feel like last time we were very all over the place and didn't really do a good job of explaining sort of who we are and our experiences and things. So, what are you thinking about for today, Aoi?
もう一度分かりやすい自己紹介をして、エピソード2を終わりたいと思います。
Okay. So,
な
I
の
trust you.
で、今回自己紹介する、4つの項目は、もう一回名前、そして出身国、なんかどんな歴があるか、
Yeah.
そして喋れる言語、最後に自分の面白いこと、長所とかだね。英語で fun fact。Fun
fact, yeah, it's very common in an American like setting. You go to an event or something. It's very common to have like the name and where you're from and a fun fact about yourself. It's pretty common.
じゃあ、やっていきましょう。先に言っていく？
Sure, yeah.
もちろん。
I'm Dalton, or Dalton, or Daru in Japanese. I'm from the US, born and raised in America. And I speak English and Japanese. I know quite a bit of some other Romance languages just from studying a lot of etymology or 語源学. So I can understand a lot of like Italian and French and German and Spanish and stuff, but I never have ever spoken them, so I definitely can't communicate in them. And what was the last one? A fun fact?
その前に質問入れる？あなたは日本の血が入ってますか？
Oh, no. Yeah, no. I'm not at all any Japanese, completely Caucasian, European descent. No Japanese blood that I'm aware of.
だけど日本語わかっちゃいます。
Yeah. Yeah. A fun fact about me, let's see. There's lots of things I could pick, but one thing that comes to mind is my father is a pilot. So ever since I was a little kid, we've always been in airplanes and going to air shows. And I think it was really important for me as a kid that I like had that perspective all the time.
かっこいいよ、本当に。そういう経験できる人なかなかいないから。
Right, yeah.
羨ましい。
Something I took for granted as a kid that I didn't realize was so special until I got older.
そうそう。すごいスペシャルだよね。
Yeah, I mean, especially in Japan, there's not a lot of like small airports, you know? It's very uncommon to be a pilot. So that is my basic 自己紹介 based on the new points. So what is your answer for all these?
パーフェクトじゃないでしょうか。今の自己紹介は。前回と比べて。
I guess so, yeah. Go ahead.
私は名前が葵です。だからすごく日本の名前だから、アメリカではよくニックネームを使ってるね。なんか葵じゃなくて、
桃とか、
お母さんの名前を勝手に使ってたり、あとはランダムの名前を使ってみたりしてるけど、一応ここでは葵って使うか。ね。
Yeah, yeah.
けど、英語ではなんか痛いっていう感じで、アウチみたいな。葵って呼ばれてます。出身国は日本人で、純ジャパです。
出身国は日本人。
そして今出たみたいに私の日本語はすごく、下手くそというか、日本語が下手くそというか、なんだろう、日本語が適当というか。
It's very free flowing. It's pure.
ピュアだって。みたいです。でも普通に間違っちゃってることあると思うけど許してください。愛嬌で夫婦とか言っておきます。喋れる言語はさっき言った通りに日本語と、そして英語が40% くらいかな。30%。
Of what? What is 100% supposed to be?
日常会話の。
I feel like you understand a lot of a 日常会話。
本当？
For sure, yeah. I talk to you in English 95% of the time. And
じゃあ 60% にしましょう。けど、知ってる単語とかのレベルはだいたい、年長さん、小学生くらいですね。なので、難しい 専門用語とかはわからないです。
But for daily life, you do very, very well.
Thank you.
You can do all of the normal interactions, normal shopping, normal conversations, everything by yourself perfectly.
まあまあね。あと笑顔で乗り切ってるところもあるけど。あははって言って。けど、そのくらいかな。そして自分の面白いことは、何でも怖がらないで挑戦できる強さだと思うんだよね。
Really?
そう。で、結構アメリカ行くのも、お母さんにも相談しないで自分で、行く、絶対行くって決めたりしたし、あとなんだろう。
You only needed one.
OK。
What was the next thing that you want to talk about?
自己紹介をテーマにして今回のエピソードはお話ししてるけど、アメリカと日本の自己紹介の時に出てくる内容がすごく違うと気づいたの。
Yeah, for sure.
だからそれについてお話ししようかなって今日は思ってるんだ。
Yeah. So I guess if you want, I can start explaining a little bit about the American sort of self-introduction.
いいよ。ありがとう。
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into a self-introduction that are not just the words. You know, the whole context of the culture is different. Like in the US, we shake hands, or in some circles, we even just hug right away. And there's like certain rules and patterns about like how you look someone in the eyes and how you grab their hand and that kind of thing.
あ、そうなんだ。
Yeah. And
手のつなぎ方?
Yeah. And depending on the situation, you might just share your name, or if it's like a group setting where you're doing a big introduction, the really common things to say are like your name, maybe what you do for work, where you're from.
Okay.
And what else?
そう、まとめよう。名前、出身国。
Yeah, sure.
Where you from でしょ?
Yeah.
なんて言った ?3 つ目。
Like what you do for work, like your job,
okay.
or like if you're a student or something.
お仕事。
Yeah. Those are, I think, pretty universal, pretty common. And then, of course, you'll find different circles of different people who have other preferences too. Nowadays, there are people who like to include, like, maybe their ethnic background or their pronouns or something. Some groups, depending on the context, again, they might talk about more specific details about what they like to do.
そうだね。
If there's a group of musicians or something, then they'll talk more about like what music they play or whatever.
趣味とか共通の点を話し合うんだね。
Exactly.
ここまでは同じだね。
Right. But yeah, 基本的に it's just your name and where you work and that kind of thing.
でも、そこでネームなんだけど、さっき私が言ったように、日本人とか他の国の人だと、英語で伝わりにくい名前とかが出てきたら、そこで、イングリッシュネームっていうのを使うでしょ?
Yeah.
それを話したいんだよね。
Yeah, that's something that I fortunately or unfortunately haven't had to deal with because I have a very English name, Dalton.
そうだね。
But I have a lot of friends from India and China and other places around the world who have had really a hard time with that. And some people just like to make a new name. They'd say it's fun and whatever. It's like making a new character. But I've heard some people say that they really, really appreciate it when somebody takes the time to go really slow and say, like, please teach me how to pronounce your name. I want to pronounce your name the way it is. Have you ever had something like that happen?
実は私もイングリッシュネームを使うようになったのが、本当にここ最近というか、アメリカに来て半年、1年目ぐらいかな。だからそれまではずっと自分の名前を頑張って伝えてたから、みんな、もう一度言ってみて。おい合ってるって言って、あおい。どうやって言うのみたいな会話を何百回何千回やってきて、そこで楽しい会話を繰り広げられたのはすごいあったけど、でもやっぱりその先に行くのにね、1時間2時間かかるから、まあもったいけど、1時間2時間かかんないけど、そのくらいの気持ちがかかるから、でもね、それもいいけど、
Yeah.
どうせならって感じで名前を持ってた方がいいなって、今改めて思うから。
Yeah. And so, how do you feel about making a new, like we call it a Starbucks name, right?
そう。
How do you feel about that?
イングリッシュネームじゃなくてスターバックスネームだよね。なんかカモンな言い方は。
Yeah.
そうそう。いいと思うし、特にオーダーするときにね、で、名前はってスターバックスアメリカでは聞かれるから、その時にそんな何分もかかる発音の会話なんてできるわけないから、そういう時にね、簡単なやつあったらすっごくいいと思う。だから私は賛成派っていうか、ネガティブじゃない印象。
Yeah, it doesn't feel like, some people might feel not great about like not being able to share their name with people.
言うよね。
Yeah.
まあ、時と場合じゃないかな。なんか仲良くなりたい友達にフェイクネームを使うっていうので、お前名前隠してたのかよって言われるのか、それともスターバックスで何十分もかけて自分の正しい名前をスペリングしてもらう、タイピングしてもらうっていうのと、違うと思うさ、その。
Yeah.
同じ？
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess maybe the intention is different. I guess it's the same with 自己紹介, right? If you're introducing yourself to like somebody you're never going to talk to again and you're only going to know them for the next 5 minutes, then you just share your name.
そういうこと。
But if it's, a long-lasting relationship or a deep situation, then you're probably going to share a lot more.
Yeah,
and this is like the backwards version.
例えばだからホストマミーとかファミリーとか、好きになりそうな人でもいいし、学校のクラスメートでも仲良くなりそうな人とかね。
Yeah.
そういう感じだね。
I gave a little bit of context for like an American self-introduction, but could you share a little bit about like a 自己紹介 in Japan?
もちろんいいよ。日本の自己紹介もダル君がさっき言ってくれた3つと大体っていうかもうほぼ全部一緒で、名前言って、出身の県とか、シティネーム言って、それかもう近い同じ県とかだったらもう学校名とか。で、その後に、仕事とか学生とかね、そういう自分の職業とかを言って終わりだね。だけど、なんか、小学校とかクラスとかもっと詳しい情報が必要な自己紹介の時は、血液型を言ったり、あとは
Yeah, that's very, very different from the US. Like,
血液型
nobody would ever share their blood type to another person for any reason other than like to tell their doctor or something. Like the whole idea that like blood types and personalities are connected and everything.I've only ever heard of that being in Japan.
そうでしょ。だから今自分の血液型も知らないんでしょ？
I definitely have it on some paperwork over in a folder over there, but I don't have it like in the front of my mind to know.
私もあなたの血液型を知らないけど結婚した。でもそのくらいのレベルできっと星座とかがね、その逆にアメリカはそういう時に出てくるんでしょ？
Yeah.
私聞いた話によると。だから面白いよね。あと他はね、何センチですとかって自分の身長を言うけど、きっとまたそれもインチでこっちは表記だから。
Well, yeah, definitely the unit of measurement is different, but
何？
The unit of measurement, like the 単位。
単位ね。
But it's also like not common to tell somebody how tall you are in English?
もちろんこっちもだよ。なんかそんなにカームンじゃないけど、もう詳しくイントロデュースをしようっていう時に、私は背が高い方です。何センチぐらいありますとか、長所言うってなったらさ、出てくるんじゃない？
It just feels very like objective.
Means
客観的. It feels like you're kind of like you have a sheet of like mathematical facts about a person. Like this person is this many pounds and this like height and like to me I think of like the stuff you would see on like a medical form, not the stuff you would like share to another person as like, oh, but just by the way, my name's Dalton and I weigh 165 pounds, you know?
言わないよ、そこまで。
Okay.
なんて言うんだろう。もし背が高い人とかさ、小さい人とかはさ、なんかここが私のチャームポイントです、みたいな時に言う人が多いかもっていう話。
Okay. でも、they can see that, right? Like, 言うべきなの？
でもなんだろう、背大きいね、みたいな、何センチ自己紹介とか、なんだろう、合コンでもきっとあると思う。
Okay.
背大きいですよね、とか。うん、そう、180あるんだ、とか。かっこいいってなるじゃん。そういう感じのイメージかな、私が出したのは。
Okay. Are there any other differences that you can think of?
なんだろう。多分日本とアメリカの違いじゃなくなってくるけど、なんか自己紹介のトピックをもっと膨らませるってなったら、例えば面白い人はきっと僕は左利きですって言うかもね。あとどんなの出てくるかな？
For me, one thing that comes up is not just like the nakami of what you say, but nakami ってか内容。But the context or like the way a self-introduction is done. Like what I said with the American one was a handshake and a hug and that kind of thing.
私たちはお礼だもんね。
Yeah, usually you keep your distance. You don't touch each other. You usually, oftentimes, depending on who it is, you don't even look them in the eyes.
あるね。あとは女性だと特に、胸元が開いてる服とかだったら、ね、胸を押さえてお辞儀したりしたりとか、なんだろう、いろんな違う方法がその中でも出てくるよね。
Yeah.
挨拶の仕方の。
Yeah. Not to mention like the whole like 敬語、尊敬語、謙譲語, all that stuff. Makes a big difference too in like the feeling that you have when you introduce yourself to somebody.
わかる。
Whereas in English, of course there are like polite ways and casual ways to say things, but there are some people who I've been introduced to where we start at a very, very, very casual level already. Like the first time we meet, it's like hugs and like, what's up, dude? Nice to meet you. And like we're friends already. Whereas I personally haven't seen that happen as much in Japan. It's usually it starts off very, very formal and slowly it gets a little bit more friendly.
まあそれもさ、その会う場所とか、時間帯とかにもよると思うけど、本当にそれはあるね。入りやすさが違うね。
Yeah. The whole like 上下関係 is a little bit stricter.
だからね、そこでね、一個だけね、なんか違うんだなと思うことは、ビジネスの仕方、きっとビジネスの仲良くなり方っていうのかな、人と人の。
Yeah.
がすごく日本は時間がかかったりとか、逆にもっと違うと思うんだよね。
Yeah. Yeah.
だって話の進み方がすごく早くない？アメリカの場合だと。英語を使うとなんだろ
う。Yeah.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, but だけど意味わかる？
Kind of, yeah.
はい、わかりました。ありがとうございます。
Yeah.
そうですね。
Yeah, and that's, coming from the American side, I've heard a lot of Westerners, Americans, Europeans complain about that as they learn Japanese and learn Japanese culture actually is like, it's very difficult to just say something. Because Japanese people are so used to, again, this is a generalization, not everybody, not every place, not every time, whatever. But generally speaking, like there's a lot of reconfirming the same information over and over again. There's a lot of like hesitation and looking for a soft confirmation of something. It's very difficult to just say like, hey, you, I want this, please. It has to be like, yeah, like, can I please talk to you just for a second? Maybe would it be okay if, never mind. Actually, could I please get,
yeah.
It's just like back and forth of like hesitation.
難しいね、きっと。でもそれもそれでなんかこう日本側に意見を寄せると優しさとか気遣いとか、
of course, yeah.
そういうのがあるんだろうね。
absolutely.
だから、
It's not right or wrong. It's just very different, like business cultures.
だからこうなんだろう、みんながバイリンガルみたいな感じになったらきっといい感じにどっちも取って使えそうじゃない？
Yeah, exactly. Like if we could take the politeness and the precision and what's the word I'm looking for? Like there's a certain level of clarity in like Japanese communication in some sense, but it lacks like the direction, the directness that I think English communication has. Yeah.
ちょっと難しくなりましたね、今英語が。
Sorry. Yeah.
私たちの自己紹介はどうだったでしょうか？伝わったかな？誰でどんな人かっていうのが少しでも伝わればいいな。
Yeah. Do you feel like there's any big points that we missed?
二人の関係性？
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the title, so that probably makes it pretty easy to understand.
Language exchange
言語交換
in Japanese 言語交換で出会って、ね、ネイバーだったんだよね、私たち。
Kind of, yeah.
いや、それで仲良くなって5類です。仲良ししてます。まだ一度も喧嘩してないくらい、仲いいから、やっぱりコミュニケーションってすごく大事なんだなって、どんな言語を使うとかじゃなくて、
Yeah.
どんな国出身とかどんなカルチャーがあるとかじゃなくて、その違いよりもコミュニケーションでお互いを理解していくってところで、
Yeah.
ね、うまく
Maybe that's
仲良くい
something,
けてるよね。
right. Maybe that's something we can talk about sometime soon is like how we communicate, not just like as a relationship, but how to communicate across languages, across cultures, and still make sure that everyone feels heard and everyone feels understood, and that we can like work together to find the best solutions without anybody feeling like they weren't really understood.
いいと思う。そうしましょう。
Yeah.
ちなみにソリューションとは何でしたっけ？
Solution?
今言ったでしょ？
Solution means like rather than just translating it for you, I want to explain it in English and see if you can get it.
OK。テストされる。
Yeah, so for every problem or issue, there is a solution to that problem.
つながってる。
They are related, they are connected, but the solution is to solve, to fix, to complete, to
つなげていくかな？
解く。
解く。ごめんなさい、私のゲストはダメでした。次回に挑戦。ということで、ソリューションは解く。答えを解くの方の解くだね。
Yes.
なんか溶かすとかじゃなくて。
Right.
OK。
Yeah.
ありがとうございます。
Yeah.
一日一英単語覚えました。
Yeah, I think that's all that we had to talk about. Is that right?
ありがとうございました。
Bye bye.
バイビー。